What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Welcome back to another deadline day stream. We've got for you guys a very exciting day for the football public, unless you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan, that is, because no transfers are being spoken. Well, actually, some were being spoken about, but everything has been thrown cold water over, and it looks as though Spurs' transfer business is done for the summer.
So you're not excited about Lavernier joining Swindon?
Oh yeah, that exciting deal. Yeah, that exciting deal. I mean, it's frustrating. I'm not going to lie, it's frustrating because we came into this window with so much hope. We heard from Ali Gold saying this window is going to be like no different to any other window. Spurs are going to go crazy in this window, and it started off like we were going to go crazy in this window. We made some really good signings early on, and then it just all reverted back into Tottenham type, really, didn't it?
Who do you think's angrier, you or Brian Hill today?
I think Brian Hill's more angry.
Hill, I think, definitely. Yeah, look, I think we'll go into obviously the details into the window overall, but I will definitely start off by saying that it's been disappointing that we've had at least 6 weeks since the last transfer to really get identify targets for another attacking position and go for them and get it over the line. And the fact that we've gone to deadline day looking at options and then decided that we can't get them over the line on deadline day or whatever, and we ended up keeping Brian Hill, who by all accounts was ready to leave, and he himself was desperate to leave, and by the very nature that we were prepared to let him go means that we don't believe that he's a great option for us right now. So just that fact is really frustrating that we now are in a situation when we have to rely on him potentially, especially for European and Champions League games. But I think the business we've done overall is good. I think that we've done good business. I think that I guess the question is: Are you happier? Are you happier with the business we have done, or more unhappy with the business that we haven't done? I guess that's the question for Spurs fans.
It has to be the business that we haven't done, because I think the business that we have done has been pretty good. The players that we've brought in have strengthened us. There's no two ways about it. You've got to be happy with the business that we have actually done. It's the business that we haven't done that is going to frustrate all the fans, because we've left ourselves short in some areas of the pitch, which we'll get into. But I think with the terms of the players that we've brought in, I think they are of the desired quality that we've been looking for. And I think the players like Bissouma, like Richarlison, these kind of players, Longley, I think that you've got to be happy with those kind of players. Perisic, obviously. But it's frustrating that we came into the window talking about defence, right wing back. We've brought in a right wing back that's not really on the mould of Antonio Conte, and he doesn't seem keen to give him a chance just yet. The centre-back situation, we needed competition for Dyer. That didn't happen. We brought in Longley, which is fair enough. I don't mind Longley at all. But when it's like talking about Gvardiol and Bastoni and then you end up with Longley, it's not the greatest situation to be in. But I think Longley can prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm not going to beat that one down too much. But it's the other. We needed another centre-back as well to be fully covered and fully stocked. And for one reason or another, that didn't happen, did it?
No, and we've ended up sticking with Tanganga. Our now three backups at the moment anyway are Tanganga, Sanchez and Longley, although Longley has, I guess, the potential to be a starter. So as backup centre-backs go, it's not the best cover, is it? You're probably okay with one of them going into the back three any one time, I would say. But the problem is pretty much when if any two of them are in the team at any one time, then all of a sudden you've got a bit of a problem. And that's the worry, I would say, when it comes to having those players as your backup centre-backs. You want a bit more quality in there. But I guess when you talk about Antonio Conte, a lot of the talk was, we have to keep him happy and all this kind of stuff. Do you reckon he's unhappy with the window? Do you think he's already talking about next window? He said it's going to take another 2 transfer windows, and considering the amount of work that's had to be done in this window, is it more positive that we've done a lot of good work, or is it about focusing on what we haven't done? I guess that's what we have to think about as a fan base?
I think right now he keeps talking about in press conference he's happy that the squad has been improved on last season, which it has, which is fair enough. But I think there's definitely a situation which could happen over the next week, few months, where we've got 2 games a week pretty much till the World Cup, where we fall short in some areas. That could very much happen. If we get an injury to Eric Dyer, we could, who knows what could happen. We could have to shove Longley in there in the centre, which he would probably prefer to play on the left. We've heard he can play centre, but I don't know if that's actually the case. If one of our front line gets injured, that leaves us very short as well, because we don't want to be relying on Gil and Lucas Moura. That's just the facts of the matter. I think in midfield, the central midfield areas, we're all right with those 4 players. I think so. It's just the attack really, and the central defence which really gets to me. And obviously the right wing back situation. After seeing Perisic, I mean, it's so miles away from like Emerson and Doherty. We need that sort of quality on that side as well if we want to achieve what we want to achieve. And Antonio Conte talks about needing a 1% chance, for glory to win the league. Does he have that 1% chance? Does he feel he has that 1% chance? I'm not so sure.
Well, if we keep everyone fit, is that not maybe there's the 1% chance?
It's a big if, though, isn't it?
Obviously, it's a big if, but that's 1%. That's what he lives off.
Yeah.
But
you just know if we get a few injuries in these next few weeks, in this next month, he's going to start coming out and complaining that we didn't do enough in the window.
Yeah, but you see Klopp complaining now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they haven't done enough.
Yeah. Managers, all managers complain, don't they? They need the tools and everything. Tuchel's complaining, Klopp's complaining. Conte's obviously going to complain. I'm sure he will. There will be points. But does that mean he's not happy?
It's a big question. I'm not sure. I mean, we've heard that Conte still thinks that Spurs still using the old mentality. And I'm not sure how much longer Conte will accept the old mentality unless we get through this season in the Champions League once again, top 3 maybe, get a trophy behind ourselves. That's got to be the aim for this season. And then we have another transfer window like this next summer, and then we're ready.
Well, that's what you said. Another 2 transfer windows. And if he's talking about the future, surely that's got to be a positive thing. And maybe he wouldn't be talking about the future if he wasn't happy. And maybe he's more committed to a project than people think. But I think it is frustrating that he's going to have to use players who that it's clear as day I don't think he wants to rely on, like Gil. And I think you could even argue the wing backs, keeping both of them as well, and then having Spence there. I don't know if he wants to rely on them or not, but he's going to have to. And this is, but the thing is with Conte, is that's kind of a lot of the time where he's done his best work is when he's had to mould certain players into his image and get the best out of them. And at every club he's done that, and he's done that to great effect. Yeah. So now's the time for him to show it, and hopefully he can. I guess let's look at the graphic of our.
Well, look,
window.
everyone is talking about this 150 million, right?
Yeah.
Where's the money gone? Why haven't we spent the money? But let's have a look and see where that money has actually gone. What's gone in?
As of now.
What's gone out? This is as of now. We expect it to be the same at the end of the window.
Yeah.
So you got Fraser Forster for free, Longley on loan, Richarlison 60, Basuma 25, Spence 20, Adoji 18, Romero 42, which got confirmed a few days ago. So that is in total 165 million. Going out is Bergwijn 27 million, Clark 5 million, Carter 6 million. The rest are loans, with Adoji going back to Udinese, Scarlett, Rodon, Parrott, Winks, Reguilon, Lo Celso and Ndombele, who are all most likely going to be back here next summer, which is a different situation. So we got in 38 million. We spent 165 million. So that's actually a net spend of 127 million.
Yeah, which is... It's not insignificant, but it's not... It's not the outlay maybe we were expecting, I would say.
I would say in net spend, it probably is maybe even more than we were expecting, because we were expecting transfer fees in, which we never got. So in terms of actual net spend, it's probably actually more than we actually thought we would spend.
I think at the beginning of the window, we were seeing this 150 million, but we were seeing this on top of any potential money we could have had. Right on top of that, with Champions League, with.
But then they only drew the 100 million anyway.
Yeah. But I'm saying when on the day when they announced that 150 million investment, if I would have said to you on that day, by the end of the window we'll have a net spend of 127 million, I wouldn't say I'm not going to say like. I don't think you would have been like up in arms about it, but would you have said that's a bit underwhelming? You know what I mean? Because I think that maybe people thought, well, we've got 150 million on top of all the other money. We're going to maybe spend, 200 million here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because we got lucky with Perisic being on a free, because on another time, he's costing in excess of probably 30, 40 million. If we take the age into account, maybe 20, 30 million. We're talking about a very good player there that we got for free. So
same with Basuma.
And same with Basuma. On another day when with all the circumstances surrounding Basuma, you're talking probably about 50 million in excess of that. So I think that there is a case to be said that we spent smartly in some situations. I don't look too much into the actual amount that we spend. I look at more at the players that we actually brought in. I'm not too bothered about how much we spent, because look at the Perisic deal, look at the Basuma deal, look at the Longley deal. We've got good players in there for not much money.
I'm not. The thing is with the money that we spent, I'm not angry with how much we spent. The only reason I'm not happy with that figure is because. Is if we're using it as a reason not to have got an attacker. Yeah. Because if that is the reason, then I'm going to look at that money that we've invested and said we haven't even hit the 150 that we've invested. So how can we be using money or lack of money as an excuse for not getting potential targets over the line for a forward line which is sorely lacking right now? And that's the issue I have to figure. I don't know. Would I have been happier if we spent 50 million on Basuma instead of 25? Obviously not. I'm happy with the Basuma deal, Perisic deal, Longley. I'm even happy with that deal. I think in terms of profile, I think he was a target that we wanted. I think he's a player that Conte wanted. I think he was on the list, so I'm happy with that deal. We obviously spent big money on Richarlison, so I'm not really bothered by figures, but if we're using money as an excuse, then I'm unhappy with it, because we haven't spent as much as West Ham or even this season. Forest. So why would money be a stumbling block when it comes to signing like a Malinovsky or even a Adama Traore or another attacker that clearly we want and we need going into the new season? So that's the only reason I'm unhappy. Even if we signed, say we got Adama on loan, right? On loan with an option to buy or something like that, and the figure's still the same, I don't really care. We've got that guy. We wanted someone and we got him. Yeah. But if we're using money as an excuse that we can't afford another attacker, that makes me unhappy.
I think with the situation the club is right now, new stadium revenue coming through, all these big events happening at the stadium, Lady Gaga, Guns N' Roses, Anthony Joshua, whatever, all you want. A lot of money being made on that stadium right now. The investment ENIC made, and you're talking about Champions League revenue coming back now as well. And they're telling us that we don't have any money to spend on clear holes in the squad.
Yeah, that's the disappointing
thing. It's ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you're coming to a stage like that, when we've got clear holes in the squad, we're having to rely on Brian Hill now, Lucas Moura, who's somewhat past it, and Japhet Tanganga as well, who's got injury problems, and he had a bad season last year.
So before we get into the state of the squad, we'll go into that in a bit, but is it a fair question, do we say, although they spent money when it came earlier in the season, if they are using money again as an excuse not to spend right now for the last 6 weeks, is it ENIC and Levy up their old tricks again, and are they ever going to change, or is it we've had a good window and we have to give them credit? What kind of narrative is it? Is it credit for spending all that money early, or is it same old tired excuses for not spending money when we need it?
We've spent amount in net spend. We've pretty much spent around similar to the Ndombele window, something like that.
Yeah.
So we've had not many times, but that 1 year was like brand new for ENIC, spending a lot of money in one window. We thought we were going to take it up a level from that, but we didn't. everything coming out of the club was saying, this window is going to be something Spurs have never seen before. It's going to be crazy. Everyone was coming out being like, this is going to go. We're going to go in the proper way of Antonio Conte. We're going to back him to the fullest extent.
What was a quote from Ali Gold? Paratici is working as hard as possible to give Conte a squad that we've never seen before or something like that.
Exactly. Is this a squad we've never seen before? I don't think so. I think that the squad is better than last season.
I think it's improved.
You've got to give it credit for that. But in terms of how high they raised our expectations to what they've actually delivered, it's Levy up to his old tricks, in my opinion.
I would say, it's underwhelming. It is underwhelming. I don't think, by no means is this window being a disaster. And I think if anyone says this window's been a disaster, I agree with that. I completely disagree with that. But when they're heightening our expectations as much as they are, then they got to take the criticism if they're going to say that we actually have no money left when we haven't even spent as much as they've invested. We have improved centre mid, we have improved the left back, we've improved the depth up front, but when we're fighting so much for on all accounts, Conte wants to be fighting on Champions League and Premier League fronts. That's what he wants. Have we got a squad to cope with all that? And especially if we get injuries and stuff, I think the jury's definitely out on that right now. The jury's definitely out. You never know. Maybe players are going to improve. Look, we've seen how much players have improved under Antonio Conte already in a short space of time. So we might be sitting here in 6 months' time saying, oh, you know what, Tanganga is actually really good. Longley, he's actually, he's really good now. He's a consistent player. Maybe Emerson's up to his game. Maybe Spencer's getting involved in the team and actually he's really good now. And maybe Gil's proving people wrong. But as of now, from the evidence we have up until this point, you have to say, is this squad strong enough to compete on all fronts? Probably not. Is it strong enough to be in a good position to compete for a top 4 place? Probably yes, I would say. I think we can compete for a top 4 place pretty good.
I even think we can compete for a top 3 place.
Yeah, I think we can. Can we close the gap on City and Liverpool? Maybe we can close it, but we can not close it completely. Sorry, can we?
We can get close to what we were last season.
Can we improve on our points tally of last season?
Of course we can.
Yeah, 100%. I think with this squad now. Can we catch City and Liverpool? Highly unlikely. I'll probably say no on that. Can we compete for the Champions League? Probably not. But can we maybe still compete for a top 3 and a cup? Yes. And I would say probably yes. And that is what everyone wanted at the beginning of the season. No one really expected a title challenge. So when people... Well, at the beginning of the season, everyone said top 3 in the trophy, right?
Exactly. And I think this squad can actually do that.
So is Levy up to his old tricks then?
He's up to his old tricks in terms of how high the expectations were on how many players we're going to bring in, the positions that we were going to bring in, what type of player we were going to bring in, also the money that they were talking about as well, and what Ali Gold was saying, and not pulling through on it 100%. It was like 60%, 70%, something like that.
Or is it a case of, yes, we wanted top 3 in a trophy, of course, but did we have an opportunity to even do more than that? And we did
have an opportunity to do more than that, and I think they've done the bare minimum to just get us top 3 area and a trophy, and that's us at our peak. At our very peak, we'll finish top 3 and get a trophy.
That's if everything goes right.
Exactly.
Basically.
That's if everything goes amazingly.
Yeah, and we have little injuries. We have a very good season. Then top 3 in a trophy is potential. So in that sense, have we actually done enough? Because we have to perform at our actual best and get no injuries and stuff like that to get that. Yeah, but maybe everyone can say that.
You can say I think when you're comparing us to our rivals, I think in terms of state of squads, I think we're in a better state than Arsenal. I believe that firmly. Chelsea, I think it's a different situation with Chelsea because I think Chelsea got a better squad than us, but I just think we're more settled than them and we're just in a better state than them.
Speaking of Chelsea, just saying Romano's given the here we go for Zakaria. So
yeah, look, joining. I think that they've got an amazing squad there, Chelsea, but there's just something not right there. It's just something not right there, and I think just we're more settled and stable than them. When you're looking at Liverpool and City, obviously they're miles ahead of us. And when you're looking at Manchester United, I think we're way ahead of them in development as well. So I think that in terms of states of squad and cohesion and everything in that sense, I think we're third best. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think so as well. But it's just a shame that we could have solidified that position, couldn't we? And I don't know whether it was a conscious decision or it wasn't possible, but we didn't capitalize on that position of strength we got ourselves in. And that is a source of frustration. And I guess as well, I think it's coupled with the fact we're not playing that well at the moment. It's probably coupled with the fact that Arsenal are top of the league. Is there some recency bias? If we had signed Richarlison on deadline day instead of 2 months ago, would everyone be hyped right now instead of being a bit annoyed? Maybe.
No, I don't think so, because we needed 2 in that position. And now, when you're looking at the backup options for our front three, Lucas Moura on the right, Bryan Hill on the left. Bryan Hill is a player that Conte didn't think was ready for the Premier League and that he tried to get rid of, albeit on loan. Lucas Moura has declined. We're not talking about the same Lucas Moura as we had a few years ago anymore. So you're talking about 2 players that we don't know that can contribute or not. That's the facts of the matter in our front three. Richarlison is the only one. Let's go and have a look at the state of the squad, actually. If you bring up that graphic, there you can see the front three: Kane, Richarlison, Son, Hill, Moura, Kulusevski. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Kulusevski, Son, Kane, one of the best front threes in the league. But when you look into the depth there, Richarlison aside, it's not that great.
Not great at all.
It's not great at all.
The only thing you could say is occasionally Perisic maybe can play in one of those roles as well. If you were to put Perisic in one of the depth roles, it actually doesn't look as bad. But I don't expect him to ever play there that much. So, Hill. I'm hoping with Bryan Hill that instead of wallowing in the fact that he didn't get his loan move, hopefully he comes with a sense that he wants to prove Conte wrong, and he wants to prove everyone wrong that he can play at this level. And maybe as well, in a weird way, Champions League football might suit him a bit more than Premier League football. Maybe having that kind of game.
You know, these players are going to have to be used a lot. Hill and Moura.
Yeah, you'd have to say so. I mean, Hill, I don't see, even in Champions League games, I'm going to be very surprised if Hill's starting a lot of games. But at least, you know, if you look at the bench, if we're having that front three, look at the bench, you've got Hill, Richarlison and Moura. It's not the best options, but at least there are options.
At least there are options.
Basically, what I'm saying is I'm happy.
Is that what we're coming to now? Like, at least there are options.
Well, mate, it hasn't always been the case.
I know.
It hasn't always been the case. So at least I'm happier that we kept Hill rather than... I think what I'm saying is in seasons gone by, we would have loaned Hill and not got a replacement.
But we've been in situations in under Pochettino and stuff when we had a great attack, and then when we looked at the bench, we had in Kudus and in G's.
Yeah, but now we have Richarlison
and all these kind of players, and but we don't just have Richarlison. We've got Hill and Moura as well, and those 2 players needed to be upgraded on. Yeah,
unfortunately, I agree with that, but that's reality. And maybe they can prove people wrong. What did last season? Moura was playing well.
What did Conte say? He said you need 2 players in every position. When you rotate them, you don't lose the quality. Can we say hand on heart we got a squad like that?
No, not in every position. No,
we've got that with Richarlison. We've got that in midfield, and that's about it.
And maybe with Longley with one of the positions.
Yeah, we don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet. Yeah, I mean, you could argue we have it on right wing back, but that's because the starting ones aren't that great. So, I mean, I think definitely in the forward line, there's a big drop in quality. When it comes to Perisic and Sessegnon, obviously Perisic is so good, but Sessegnon's still pretty good cover, I would say.
I'm happy with the left wing back.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Obviously, midfield's fine.
I promise you, there's 4 positions, 5 positions. Well, let's say 4 positions on that map that I'm completely fine with, and that's the 2 central midfielders, left wing back, and striker. Apart from that, nothing is that great. I mean, and Romero and Sanchez I'll take as well. I'll put on that list as well.
Right. Davis and Longlay's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but I still think we need to be up. When you're talking about Gvardiol and Bastoni and you end up with Davis and Longley.
You know, Gvardiol just signed a new contract. They rejected 90 million. Clearly, he wasn't available.
Yeah, I know that, but that's the kind of caliber we were talking about.
Yeah, but maybe Longley could surprise some people. I don't know. Well, I think Conte wanted Longley. So I think he was a Conte signing, so I'm not going to be upset by that. I'm going to hope he's
all right, fine. Look, for argument's sake, because that's like that's one of the least of my worries. That I'll put that in there as well.
So yeah, Dyer's position, right wing back, and then the 2 forward positions. So 4 of them. Yeah, and I have to agree. I think the depth in those positions right now seems to be lacking, and that's the case. And then from that point of view, that's disappointing. But how, you know, we signed 6 players. Did we want 10 signings this window? Was it ever going to be feasible? I don't know.
I think we could have signed 2 more.
2 more.
I think we could have signed 2 more, and I think if we would have
1 more, that's for sure.
If we would have signed an attacker and another centre back, I'll be going into the season. Look, I'm still quite positive. It doesn't really seem like it because it's just frustrating with the window today. I think if we would have signed another attacker and another centre back, I would have gone into the season very happy with the transfer business and with the state of the squad. Yes, there still would have been a few holes there, but you can't do everything in one window. That's the honest truth about it. You can't do everything in one window, but we could have got those 2 players in. We just could have.
Yeah.
There's no reason why not.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially an attacker. I definitely believe we could have got an attacker in this window. And it's disappointing that we're going to be relying on Gil and Mora again, but we have to. I guess this is our lot for the season. I guess, and we have all until January anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised if in January, if there are still real glaring holes that it's obvious to everyone, which they do seem to be right now. And if they're really apparent come January, maybe we'll do what we did last January with Kulusevski and Bentancur, and we'll dip into the market again.
Well, yeah.
You'd have to hope so.
I think we might have to.
Yeah, you'd have to hope so. Is that enough to get us to January?
And you're not talking about a normal season this year. You're talking about a season that everything is bunched so closely together. It's inevitable you're going to get injuries. It's inevitable things are going to happen throughout the window. And once a team goes to the World Cup as well, you don't know what's going to happen there. Players could get injured. Anything can happen.
Then January
comes. And then January comes. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to have to dip into the market in January.
Yeah. So I agree. Well, if you're looking at that, so if you're looking at the squad, obviously you got those holes, but is that enough to get us to January? Is that enough to get us? Look, is it enough to get us to out of the group stage in the Champions League?
No, I think it is.
And then keep us in the hunt for the top 3 finish.
I think it is. I think it is.
So from that sense, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it is enough. It's enough for top 3 finish. And it's enough.
If you're just looking till January.
Yeah, I think it's enough to keep us in the hunt.
And then we can assess it again in
January.
But
having said that, we don't know how this squad is going to react to these 2 games a week. We don't know. With such big games as well every week. It's not like it's Carabao Cup midweek and stuff like that. We're talking about Champions League football here.
Yeah.
It's going to be so taxing on the squad physically.
So
we don't know how they're going to respond to that.
And I'm still a bit worried about putting pressure on Son and Kane because we all thought signing Richarlison the pressure would come off, but because we didn't get another one, there is still going to be a lot of pressure on both of them now, I would say, and the ability to rotate them is still pretty limited. Pretty much every game, at least one of them has to be on the pitch. Really, realistically, we can't rest both of them ever.
Yeah.
Imagine a front 3 of Richarlison, Gil and Mora. I mean. That doesn't frighten anyone, I don't think.
Yeah.
So that's a bit disappointing, and hopefully they'll be all right to kind of cope with the schedule. But hopefully Richarlison can take a bit of the burden off because at least last season we couldn't even rest one of them. So at least maybe we'll be able to rest one of them sometimes.
But there's more games now, and they're more bunched together as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be difficult. But I think the squad's. I think on paper, the squad has enough to cope with until January. That's my assessment. I think we're strong. I think we're strong enough until January to get out of the group stage and keep us in the hunt for a top 3 finish. But that can all change very quickly. That's the worrying thing. So hopefully luck's on our side. But I don't think that squad is terrible. I think we've improved it. I don't think we've had a bad window. But it's just annoying that, again, with Tottenham, it's like that extra step. Always that extra step. They don't want to take it. They always settle for... That's what we always say, right? If we've said this for years about Levy and ENIC. They don't want to be the favourite. They don't want to make the steps to make themselves become the favourite. They want to be the underdog that surprises people. And just with one or two signings, we become that outright favourite. And right now, not outright for the league, but like for what we want. But right now, it's still like we're hoping for things to go our way. Otherwise, you know, we're not necessarily going to achieve what we want.
Everyone was talking when we were making all these signings, all the media, can Spurs make a challenge for the title with all these signings, assuming that we were going to make more signings, assuming that we weren't going to stop and rest on our laurels. That's exactly what we did, and it's just so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. Having thought about it all, having seen that, having seen the ins and the outs, do you have any revisions on maybe rating the window out of 10?
Since when? What? Well, since
well, yesterday you said 7.
Yeah.
You stick with that?
Yeah, I'm still sticking with it. I am. Yeah, I'm still sticking with a 7 because I think 3 positions have been improved, like quite well. Potentially 4 with a centre back as well. And we've improved the depth in the squad. The depth is much better than it was last season, although it's still not to my liking. It's better. So the work, so I'm happier. I'm more happy with the work we have done than I am upset with the work we haven't done. That's my position right now.
So 7 you're going for?
So I'm still sticking with a 7 out of 10. I think it's it's disappointing that we didn't push on from a position of strength, which we were in. For sure, we were in a big position of strength, and we didn't kick on from it. So from that point of view, we should have been in a better position than we are now. That's what I'm frustrated about. But I think for the business we have done, I think it is good business. I think it's going to stand us in good stead. And I think we still haven't seen the fruits of that labour yet. We still haven't seen what all these signings can bring to us just yet. So I think 7 out of 10.
A week ago I said 8. Yesterday I said 7. I think today...
Dropping every day, huh?
Yeah, I think today, now the dust has settled, it looks as though the window's pretty much over for us. I think I'm going to go for a 6.5. The more and more I think about it, the more and more holes I see in the squad, and it just frustrates me with everything going into this window. If we would have signed another striker or another attacker, I would put it up to 7. And if we would have signed a centre-back on top of that, I would have put it like 8, 8.5, something like that. So I'm going to go 6.5 for me.
Fair enough.
But I want to know your guys' rating out of 10 of the window in the comment section below. And also with that rating, by the way, you've got to take into account the outgoings as well, which you got to say was a bit of a shit show this year because we got them out, but they're only loans and they're all going to be back next year.
But if there's no buyer, what can you do? What can you do?
It is. Yeah, I know.
Cancel their contracts. What can you do?
Well,
is that better than a loan?
Just because it's out of our hands, it doesn't mean it doesn't affect the rating.
Yeah, but I'm sure we wanted a fee. I'm sure we would have taken any fee. It's just about getting people to buy them.
I get that, and I completely accept what you're saying. But just because it's out of our hands and we couldn't get the fee, it doesn't mean it shouldn't affect the rating because that's actually what happened. So you've still got to rate it.
Right, so we still got them out. At least they're out.
But they'll be back into square one next summer.
Well, maybe. We don't know that. We don't know that.
More likely than not, though, with
not
most
for
of
everyone.
them.
Yeah, maybe a few of them. Yeah, I reckon a few of them will be back. I don't not necessarily all of them. Regular might be fantastic Atletico, and they might want to buy it.
He's already said he's not going to celebrate a goal against Real Madrid.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great start.
He is definitely going to be back next year.
It's not a great start. He's probably going to be back tomorrow. But you never know. You never know. Look, we've got some super chats.
Yeah, we'll get through them in a second. I just want to tell people about this poll. It says, are you happy with the window? 46% are saying yes, 54% saying no. It's a very split decision there. Very split.
How many votes we got?
We got 1,424.
1,424. Fair enough.
So very interesting there. But keep voting, guys. We'll keep this poll running till the end of the stream. We've got Ennio Rodriguez with the super chat saying, last season, through the bad runs, how many times did we say top 4 was impossible and out the window?
And out the window.
Oh, and out the window.
Top 4 was out the window.
But we did it. I've got trans window in my mind. I can't stop.
No,
We'll get better. It's too early. I believe we'll get better. I do believe we'll get better. But the problem is this season, it's completely different to any other season where everything's just so bunched together. It's going to be so intense and so taxing physically on the bodies that we needed an extra big squad for this year.
Yeah, it's true. So hopefully the players that we do have are up to it. That's what we got to hope. And I believe they are. I believe. Look, there are going to look. We're not going to win every game. There are going to be games we lose, and it's not going to be the perfect season. But I think in the long run, I reckon we'll be okay until January anyway.
Another super chat from Brian Daigle. Big up, Brian. He says, I said during the window that I wouldn't say it, but the trigger fingers are back. And as always, Levy out.
Look, and I think that's fair enough because I understand that frustration. Look, I think they have spent money and I think they spent it well, but I think the fact that they didn't go that extra mile is a consistent problem that this board and management have continually been guilty of. So if the fact that we're seeing it yet again in this window, even though we've had a good window. In my book, the fact that we're seeing the same things must be a source of frustration for people who've been calling that out, and even for me, for someone who's had a good window, it's even frustration for me. So, I like if people see what we're doing and are upset with the board, because I do think a lot of it is down to the board again, because I do think we've been hamstrung by a potential lack of resources later in the window, even though there should not be any reason for a lack of resources. That's to be on the board.
Yeah.
Not to say that, for me personally, I'm still happy with the direction of the club. I'm still happy right now with the squad and with Conte and where we're headed. So I'm not necessarily going to start railing at the board after every match and stuff like that. But I understand frustrations right now, Enoch and Levy. 100% I understand it.
Yeah, I do as well. But also, I want to say that I say 6.5, but that's my personal opinion, right? But I think that if Conte is happy with this window, then I'm happy with this window. I think it all comes down to what Conte's views of this window, and if he thinks this is actually a squad that he can work with. If he thinks that in this current climate with this season that we're about to go in, can he do what he wants to do with this squad?
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is it's clear that he wanted another attacker. So. Yeah.
And another defender.
And so that's clear. But whether he feels like that's a deal breaker or not, that's another thing.
If he thought it was a deal breaker, he would be out the door by now.
So he did get an attacker, and he did.
And by the way, he's out shopping for shoes right now, as it stands.
Exactly. That's what we're doing.
Not shopping for strikers, not shopping for centre backs, shopping for shoes.
So look, I'm sure every manager wants more. Every manager wants a perfect window, but it's not always possible. So from that point of view, I'm sure Conte has appreciated the work we've done this window, and I think he's not going to spit his dummy out the pram because of the business we've done. But I'm sure he would have wanted more.
Another super chat here from DDMK THFC saying too many changes is as bad as not enough. I'm happy. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think within reason. I think there's a good point there. You don't want
20 new signings like Forest.
Yeah, you don't want to change the whole squad, because then all of a sudden you're going to be completely disjointed, and then you're not going. It's going to take double as long to kind of acclimatise the new season and stuff like that. So I think that's a good point. But I think we could have done with one more. I don't think one more would have been a massive. One or two more would have been too many, in my opinion, considering what needs to be done in the squad.
I can't see any of the other ones, so you.
There's Kaylee Davis, who says, "F the negativity. We're third and unbeaten. Enjoy it. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on."
Yeah, no, I understand that as well. I think a lot of people are being very negative.
Look, I think that I've been calling for positivity the last couple of days with people that have been ragging on the window, ragging on everything to do with this club at the moment, the style of football, everything. I know I do sound a bit negative right now, but actually I don't actually feel like that about the season. I actually think that we can have a good season. I think we can get top 3. I think we can win a trophy this year. So I think that it's important for us as a fan base to actually all stick together, support this club, support this great manager, and support these great players that we have as well, because I think the squad that we have is good. It's just that it's frustrating that some of the holes in this squad haven't been filled.
Yeah.
That's the frustration.
Yeah, and if they are, and the frustration is, again, if they are using money as an excuse, that is definitely a frustration, 100%, and that shouldn't be an excuse. But it's not to say that the squad isn't in a good place. The club isn't in a good place right now with the manager and everything, and where we're headed. And it's not to say that we shouldn't be excited going into the, even looks like we're getting no one today, but it shouldn't be excited. We shouldn't be excited going into the season up until January and believing that we can have as good season. We definitely have the capability of that, because I think we do.
Do you think that if we would have had I know we've had a good start in terms of results to the season, but if we've been playing well, let's say it had the same results but playing really well in all the games so far this season, do you think people are still as negative as they are now?
Probably not, because you might look at Emerson, and maybe Emerson got a couple of assists at the beginning of the season. You might think, actually,
Well, he did.
Did he get? He got one assist, didn't he?
He got two, didn't he, in the first game of the season?
He got one in the first game, didn't he? Just one.
One for the own goal, and he got another one for Kulu's.
Yeah, good point. You got two. Yeah. So, maybe I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, are definitely affected by recency bias and everything like that. 100%. I remember last season we were doing these polls on Harry Kane, whether he should be in the team or not, and then one week everyone said no, and then the next week he scored and everyone says yes. A lot of fans can be swayed by very recent things very quickly. So, and like, we've had a good start to the season anyway. So, I for one, I'm in a good place at where we are, and even though I am also frustrated. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely frustrated by the lack of activity in the last 6 weeks. But I still think we're in a much better position we were last season. I think as a club, we're pulling in the right direction with Conte. So there's no reason not to be excited. But if you were expecting us to challenge for the title, then obviously you're going to be very, very disappointed, I think.
I don't think anyone really expected us to challenge for the title this year. It was always a pipe dream. It was never realistic.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Well, but then there's no reason to be that disappointed with where we are.
Well, there is, because we're talking about wanting top 3 in a trophy, and that can only happen for us if nothing goes wrong throughout the season. We perform at our max best, in my opinion. Two more signings would have helped us out, done the world of good for us, would have helped us out so much. And even with 2 more signings, we're not talking about fighting for the league. We're still talking about the same objectives, just it'll make it more realistic for us to get them.
I think it is still very realistic.
I think, yeah, but it's saying it's more realistic and more likely for us to get it if we do get those 2 players in.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean when we haven't put ourselves in a position which we can do it. And I think we have. And
I agree. I agree with that.
I think we have. I think we have. Basically, we've put in ourselves in a position where it is achievable. But we put in ourselves in a position where a title challenge is achievable? Probably not. No. I would say no.
But I genuinely believe that comes next season anyway.
Yeah, and I think
that was always the plan.
That's why the way Conte's talking as well. We need 2 transfer windows next season. Hopefully, that's the thing. Do I believe that Conte is still aiming for the title? I reckon he probably is. Honestly, that's just his character. He's always going to look at first place.
Well, he did say in the last press conference, we need to be dreamers.
Exactly, and that's just his character. But do I believe that if we do finish 3rd, he's going to be really unhappy with that? I don't think so. In the end, we had a super chat here from Jory. He said we missed it. He said Levy has to go. It's not about big money signings. I'm very disappointed because we all see the signs of Levy letting Conte down.
I think yes and no, because I don't think we'll know if Conte's been let down until next summer, to be honest. Because I think next year was always the year that Spurs could potentially go on a title challenge. This year was always about solidifying top 4 again and getting get a trophy duck off our back.
I do think Levy has let us down a bit in this final month. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
because of the fact that it was clear what we wanted. and I
Not even wanted,
needed, and there's no other reason other than it being difficult financially to have got it over the line. That's the only reason why we haven't got these players. I really believe that there were players out there we could have gotten that were available, that were achievable, and the only reason we didn't get them was because of money. The fact that we were going for all these loans proves that. So I think from that point of view, he has let us down, but he has also put us in a position where we can achieve our goals at the same time. So,
but that's always what it is, doing things to the bare minimum.
Yeah,
that's always what it is. That's always been the criticism.
But has he done the bare minimum? 6 signings.
If we would not have made
any of those signings, yeah,
you know what I mean. Let's say a few of them came in and a few of them didn't. You know, we might not even be making top 4 this year. He did the bare minimum for us to maybe for Conte to achieve his goals this season.
I guess if you take out any of those signings of our squad right now,
put Spence and Udogie to one side.
Yeah, if you took out any of Richarlison, Basuma, Perisic, like this window might be even a disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably true. So you could argue it's the bare minimum. But the bare minimum was a lot. Yeah,
that's what the state of the squad was last year.
I guess that's fair enough. That's a fair point. But yeah, I guess that's always been true, isn't it, with Levy? I guess that's true.
Another super chat here from Tinman007. Guys, 1 attacker on our bench last night. Right wing back not fixed. No centre back. 0 creativity. We won't get top 4. Love Tottenham. Hate Enoch and Levy.
Yeah, look, 1 attacker on our bench last night, but that won't be the case going forward.
Yeah. Well, we also had 2 wing backs on our bench last night who were attacking players.
We're going to have Hill and Moura available. Once Moura, I don't know how long Moura's out for, but once Hill's back in the squad, he's going to be an option now. And then obviously, yeah, the wing backs also quite.
But are they options that Conte can rely on? That's the point here.
Have to wait and see.
I think we know the answer.
Look, if he can't rely on Bergwijn, how's he going to rely on Hill?
Exactly.
That's the truth. That's the truth. But hopefully, maybe as well, Conte needs to be less stubborn. Because Bergwijn, in my opinion, could have done a lot more for us last season, even though
and I think Spence can do a lot more for us as well this season. And I think Spence needs to be utilised.
And sometimes Conte just gets things in his mind and he's very stubborn about them. And that's one of his flaws. He's way too stubborn with things. And I think he's been proven wrong with a lot of people. Like Skriniar proved him wrong. He wanted him out. He decided he can't play my system and he proved him wrong. Perisic, he thought this guy can't play left wing back. I'm going to loan him out to Bayern Munich. And then he came back and proved him wrong. So sometimes Conte just gets it in his mind with players. And Bergwijn, I think Bergwijn probably is another one for me, where he just got it in his mind that he's only worth as much time as he gave him. And I think he was worth a lot more than that to me. And you know what? If we have Bergwijn now instead of either Gil or Moura, you know, it looks a lot better, doesn't it?
You know, Bergwijn has pretty much scored as many goals so far this year for Ajax than pretty much Anthony did last year in the whole season for Ajax.
Yeah, because he got a hat-trick, didn't he?
You know what I mean? And Anthony's just gone for 100 million.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think, I'm not going to say it was a mistake letting go of Bergwijn. All I'm saying is, but if we replace right now, even Moura, you swapped out Moura for Bergwijn, our depth looks a lot better.
Hey, I would love Bergwijn over Moura. I would love Bergwijn over Hill right now. So he's such a better player. He's such a good player, Bergwijn. I loved Bergwijn.
So I think, and I think if Conte just would have given him either a couple of starts or a few more minutes, we would have him still. And it's just the fact he literally gave him the bare bones of minutes. And I think that's on Conte. He's got to live with that. The fact that we got Hill right now in the squad instead of Bergwijn, for me, Conte has to take some responsibility for that.
Yeah, I agree. Yin Sargent with the super chat says, also remember, part of a good window is not getting anxious and overpaying for a player you don't really want because the guy you really want isn't available. No centre-backs we want. Best save for January. I mean, that is what Liverpool did with Van Dijk when they bought Van Dijk all those years ago. Definitely got a point there. I mean, that's why we bought Longley in on loan. But not only did we need that, but we needed another one as well. So why not get another stopgap in at least for cover?
Yeah, because we couldn't get rid of Tanganga, which is again disappointing. But if Spurs, that's on whoever was negotiating that deal for Tanganga. That's on them because clearly he was wanted. but we wanted the money up front and all these different things and obligations to buy. If we could have just loaned out Tanganga and got someone in, it would be a much better position. So that's also frustrating when it comes to that kind of deal. But yeah, I agree with him. We don't want to be we've done it before, overpaid for players that we've kind of panicked for and it hasn't really worked out. You don't want to do that, but you could have. I mean, you could have got relatively small outlays for, like, you know, as we said, like a Malinovsky or a Adama. Like they could have been players that, for relatively small fees, could have helped us.
Ray Chrisley with the super chat saying, now it's time to trust Conte to keep improving the squad. Hopefully Tottenham will be more attractive to top players in the winter window. But I mean, we all know big transfers don't really happen in that window.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, Van
Although
Dijk
we did get Kulusevski and Bentancur, but
yeah, I think when it comes to January,
it's opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to January, it's just a case. I guess it will be a case of seeing how badly are we doing? Are the holes really apparent? Are we being exposed by them? And how are we doing in the league and Champions League? What's the state of play? And with injuries and everything after the World Cup as well, because it's going to be just after the World Cup. So it's so you can't predict what's going to happen in January now. It's going to be impossible.
Crossbar Consulting says, Dyer and other D leading our attack with no pace, useless lateral plays and 50-yard passes to Lloris versus West Ham. Get the ball to more offensive players. What would you say to that?
Dyer and other D, and Dyer and Davis leading our attack with no pace, useless lateral play and a 50-yard pass to Lloris versus West Ham. Get the ball to... yeah, I mean, I agree. Against West Ham, the passing was really bad. I think we can all agree on that. I still think we were pretty good. We had a good threat on the counter. Just when West Ham was settled, weren't really threatening as much as we should have. And there are a few times. How many times did we have the ball and it ended up back at Lloris? Like we had a good spell of possession and then ends up back at Lloris. Like,
so frustrating.
I remember telling you, I was like, we're fine up until it gets here and then we're going to pass it back to Lloris. Yeah. It happened just then. I was like, it's ridiculous. How are we in this situation? But we're not going to play like that every game. We won't. No. I'm just hoping not anyway.
Tinman 007 with another super chat said, you said next year. Will Conte be here next year?
Well,
he's talking like he will be.
Yeah. So there's nothing to suggest he won't be. He keeps talking about the future and the project. And you got to remember Paratici's here as well, who obviously wants him, as long as he's here and they believe in the project, there's no reason for him to. I think Conte, as much as he could have had more backing, I think he's got it nice here in London. Nice stadium. He's got good training facilities, and he's got Paratici at the helm as well. Like I think he must be happy, in my opinion, at Tottenham.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Because he's like the key to everything. Yeah, he does seem to be happy. But let's see how it all develops. But we did a video a couple months back. We gave ourselves 150 million to spend, and it wasn't sort of a prediction, but we had a bit of fun to see what we would do with the money realistically, and let's see how close we got or how far away we got. And let's start off with you, Sim.
$30 million through the door, really. So bring it back. I'm trying to see who I got. Something. Yeah. So I sold Doherty, I sold Reguilon, I sold Emerson, I sold Carter Vickers, Rodon, Tanganga, Winks, and Ndombele, Lo Celso. Bergwijn, I said 23, so that was an understatement. But I got big figures for all these players, and nothing really came to fruition. Yeah. In terms of the money spent, I spent 250 million compared to the 160 we actually did spend. Bastoni never happened. Spence did happen. Lewis Dunk, I said I'd go for as a centre back. I would take him now, not gonna lie. Baku, I said a right wing back, where I would go for 35 million. We ended up only getting Spence because I said we would sell Doherty and Emerson. We didn't sell either of them. Perisic on a free. Obviously, we got Ericsson on a free. Less said about that, better. And I said I would go for Ward-Prowse, but obviously for 55 million, we obviously ended up getting Basuma for 25, which was a good deal. And then I said in the forward options, I said I would buy two forwards, Scamacca, who ended up going to West Ham, and Martin Terrier, who ended up staying at Rennes. I would say I'd spend 30 million on him. So, 250 million didn't really go according to plan. But I mean, I wouldn't have minded. I guess we got Richarlison instead on the forward line, so that's probably better. But I mean, if we had Dunk now, he would be a good backup for Dyer. I think he'd be good. Baku as well would be a good right wing back. So shame we didn't get some of them.
Well, let's see how close I got. I had 135 million coming in, and I had an outlay of 235 million, which is 100 million, obviously, a net spend. I had Doherty going out for 5 million, which didn't happen. Reguilon going out for 25 million, which didn't happen. He went on a loan. Emerson, 20 million. Obviously, he stayed. Vickers for 6 million, which was actually spot on, I think. Rodon for 10 million, which was just a loan. Tanganga loan, which he stayed. Who's that? Is Winks, 10 million I had, which was just a loan. Ndombele, 15 million, which was a loan. Lo Celso, 20 million, which was a loan. Devine had a loan who didn't even end up going out on loan. And then Clark, 4 million, which was fairly spot on. Bergwijn, 20 million, which was, 7 million short or something. And I had Sarr, Parrott, Scarlett and Hill all being loaned out when Sarr and Hill had been kept because we couldn't find players to replace them. Ins, I had Bastoni for 60 million, which obviously didn't happen. I had Koulibaly for 25 million. How much did he go for in the end, Koulibaly?
A bit more than that, about I think about 30 million, wasn't it? 35 million, something like
that. I remember when I said Koulibaly for 20 million, you were like gobsmacked that I thought he would go for that low. And he actually did, didn't he? Dumfries for 30 million, he didn't end up going anywhere. Spence for 20 million, which was actually spot on, pretty much. Forster and Perisic for free, both spot on. Ericsson, yeah, let's breeze past that one. Bissouma for 25 million, which was actually spot on. And I had actually Jesus and Richarlison coming in
together. wouldn't have minded that, to be fair.
Jesus for 40 million, which actually is what he went for, didn't he, to Arsenal?
About 45, yeah.
And Richarlison 35 was well off the mark, but at least I got Richarlison coming in.
Yeah, you got him right.
But actually, the predictions there in terms of the players that were coming in, I got quite a lot of them right.
Not bad. Richarlison and Bissouma.
Perisic, Spence.
Perisic, I think, had already joined by that time.
And Spence.
Spence, yeah. So not bad. Not bad. Pretty good going. There's Sky Sports Lyle has said that Tottenham are done in this transfer window, and he said that Tottenham were not convinced enough by Gelson Martins, so we'll stick with what they got.
Well, are they convinced more by Brian Hill?
Apparently so. Apparently so. So looks like we're done.
A super chat here from Harry Kane saying
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane's in the super chats, and he's saying, where is Malinovsky, Carrasco and Milenkovic, and where is the centre backs we are looking for, Sim? Are there any hopes? What do you think Levy is doing? Levy's probably partying the night away, knowing he's not going to be spending any money today.
Yeah, the dividends have just gone up, I think.
Yeah.
Where's Malinovsky, Carrasco and Milenkovic? Did we say Milenkovic was signing? Malinovsky, Atlantis apparently decided to keep him because we didn't want to stump up the money. Carrasco, they were demanding the release clause. We didn't want to stump up that money. Milenkovic, I think he signed a new contract again at Fiorentina. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wasn't that last summer?
I think he signed another one.
Another one?
I think he might have signed another one. So yeah, there you go. What do you think Levy is doing? He's just being stingy and stringent with the money, as he always is. And I don't know why we thought he was going to. I mean, he did spend a bit, but why did we think he was really going to push the boat out? Yeah, we were wrong about that. He didn't push the boat out as much as we hoped. That's the truth. That's the bottom line. But that's not to say that we've had a bad window, because I don't think we have had a bad.
But also, with that, our expectations are still the same in terms of whether we would have bought these players or not. It just would have given us more of a chance to do it.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, let's start bringing on some guests. But before we do that, we've actually got a super chat from Ryan Isaacs Kennard, member for 7 months. Big up, Ryan. And he says, watching Tottenham on a Wednesday night, got no squad depth because our chairman's tight. What a feeling, what a night.
Sky? What? Sorry, 1 sec. Oh, sorry, yeah.
So yeah, he's got a song there about the transfer window. But actually, we've actually probably got one of the most depths we've ever had in the lean ENIC era.
Definitely, yeah. I can't remember too many times we've had as good depth as we are, but it could be better. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I actually did a tweet comparing our attacking options to the rest of the top six.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see. I think it's a weird one because like the first four, we're probably first or second. But then but the problem is, I think everyone else has a better fifth or sixth choice than us. But then again, we have a better like top four choices than a lot of them. So it's like the balance. I don't know.
I think in a season like this, depth matters so much more than any other season. That's the truth of the matter, and that's why it's so kind of annoying that we got Lucas and Hill as our backups, because this season it's so important. The depth, it's so important. I can't understate that any more than I can. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's more important than any other season this season to have good depth. I agree with that.
All right, and it's time for the blockbuster event. He goes by the name of Brian Daigle, everyone. Let's bring him on. Mr. Daigle.
What's up, boys? What's up, everyone? How are we doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
I can see the red mist already on your face, Brian.
Brian, before you start going absolutely nuclear, before that...
Just say something nice so we can just relieve the tension.
Before this transfer window started, what was your expectations for this season?
So let's have a little stroll back over this summer. I remember it was a lovely May morning. It was morning time here. And all of a sudden, I was about to go up the CN Tower with Brad Matthews. And I got a bombardment of calls from you, from Ryan Isaac Kennard. I got it from Bob Spur. I actually weren't from Bob Spur. I thought people were trying to call me because something had happened to Bob. And then obviously I spoke to you, Ben and Sim, you at the studio, and you said, have you seen about what Enoch have done? And I was like, no, tell me. And you said they've invested 150 million into the club. And I was like, I said to you there and then, okay, let's best go on Twitter and say something, because I bet my Twitter's going ballistic, and it was. And I said, listen, it is the start of something. They have announced that they put the money in. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. It is going to take a long time for myself and many others to swallow the bullshit from this parasite. And it started off brightly. Let's get this right. Ben, Sim, you and me, we've all spoken about this in great detail on streams, in private. And it looked like things may be happening. Things may be starting to turn. And then we get to the realisation where we are here. And once again...
What is that realisation, Brian?
What's that realisation? We say we've got a well-balanced squad. 5 defenders on the bench. 5 and 1 striker.
That's because our other two strikers, attacking players, were injured.
And we're talking about the quality of Hill and Lucas, yeah? Like you were just saying with Bergwijn.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Like you said, the quality, again, hasn't been addressed. There's 5 defenders on the bench, and we still need a bloody centre-back. Yeah. So there's a centre-back that we desperately need, but we'll have 5 defenders on the bench. And then you look at it, and people, and it's winding me up now, people saying Chelsea overpaid for Fofana. Did they? Chelsea needed to rearrange their backline because it was in dire need of sorting. So they go and get Koulibaly, a very, very world-class quality defender. They go get Fofana. That's big money on a 7-year contract. Will that pay itself over 7 years? Yes. 75 million. I'd rather pay 75 million for Fofana than 17 million for fucking Aduji just to go back on loan and maybe be one for the future. Fofana is one for the future, but Brian, he's ready now.
Brian, you didn't answer my question. What was your expectations for the season before the transfer window? Look, it's even driven him to drink. Jesus Christ.
No, it's alcohol-free, and you know it. It's alcohol-free. Trust me, if there's anyone that is to do it, it's going to be that parasite. But yeah, Ben, again, you two, I even did it when I was on the stream with Sim, and I said, listen, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when and don't get me wrong.
Answer the question, though. What was your expectations for the season?
For the
In
season?
position-wise. Yeah,
Yeah.
like position-wise.
Position
mean for the
wise,
window or
trophy wise? No, for the season. For
Well,
the season.
trophy-wise, so when that money came in and it started looking good, I was saying third in a trophy.
Yeah.
But now I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that.
Why is that?
Trophy, because you look at it, the filth have brought in players that walk into their team and make their team. Zinchenko, Jesus,
Yeah.
walk into their team and instantly make it better.
Have we not done the same with Perisic and Bissouma?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but Ben, that part we have. But just because you've done it, you don't get 3 players and go, okay, we've done 3. Now we'll just focus on fucking youth and everything else.
I don't get, Brian, though, why Arsenal's transfer window has been lauded and Spurs is getting shat on. Because in my opinion, Spurs have actually had a better window than Arsenal. And Spurs' squad is actually in a better place than Arsenal.
Mate, with the manager, yes. With the manager and the players that we have there, do I think we still got the better team? Yes, but they are doing bits. They are doing bits. They have brought players in that instantly go into that first team and improve it.
So have we.
Chelsea, yes, but Ben, we've missed out again, like we did with Harry Kane when we needed to get a backup for him for 8 years. We finally got it. When Dembele goes and we finally needed a replacement,
but
what
Arsenal
do we do?
fans are saying the exact same thing. They're saying the exact
So-
same thing.
So they could say that, but listen, Ben, you were saying it
But
before
you're trying
as well.
to compare Arsenal's window to our window,
No,
right?
I'm saying, you cut me off when I said Arsenal.
Sorry,
I hadn't
Brian.
finished.
Sorry.
That's right, brother. That's all right. Chelsea, every player they have bought, Champions League winners, title winners, walk into that first team. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Not one of these, okay, we'll buy a young kid and we'll see how he does. Not, okay, and why is it, with this whole thing with Gvardiol and things like that, why is it Tottenham Hotspur, like when Newcastle went for James Maddison, they made 2 bids that were fouled. They actually made bids. Why are we interested FC or Inquiry FC? Why is that?
Does it really matter, though, if it's the same result?
Well, mate, how do you know? If you'd put the money in for a Skriniar, if you had, because we needed a centre-back, and said, here you go, into Milan, you need the money. Here it is. What do you want? Let's say it's 40 million just for shits and giggles. Here's 40 million. Then the ball's in the court of the player. And you can say, do you know what? If the player doesn't go, you can say, at least we attempted it. We got the player in talks. He turned us down. That's fine. If players do that, that's fine. This Milanovsky, who we all know we needed, where is he? Where's the creativity? Where the defence yesterday looked shaky again, and that's when Romero is out. Longley can't get in, and how is that good enough?
But it's only
How
5
is that
games
good
in,
enough?
Brian. It's only 5 games in, Brian, and we're unbeaten still. 3 wins, 2 draws.
Sim, that part we're not talking. I'm not talking about performances now. I'm talking about players coming into. This is as you've been saying. We now play 2 games a week.
Yeah.
We now play Champions League. If there are injuries, if there are suspensions, what happens? If Romero is injured and Dyer gets suspended,
how many more signings did you want?
I said I wanted a centre back all day long. I'd have loved to have seen an attacking midfielder. I'd have loved to have seen him as like a bonus player, but I really, really, really wanted the centre back. Really desperately wanted the centre back, and it's not come in. I think Romano, someone just let me know, I think it was Ryan, that he has said Spurs are done for the day.
Yeah. Thomas said that, yeah.
So yeah, it's just been, if people are honestly here and sit down and say that when we got this window and when we got this money, people were first names on their head, Dan James and all these other ones that have been Adama Traore again and all these other things. We were led to believe that we will be, because we got, wait, let me go back. I got told when this happened, the abuse I get, I'm toxic, I'm negative, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not a Spurs fan. All this shit happens, and I knew this was going to happen. And then I got all that grief on Twitter, all that.
Oh, is he? I think he's been cut off there.
I think good old Levy up to his old tricks again. Levy up to...
Oh, no, he's back.
He's back.
Get him back on.
Go on, Brian.
You go, Brian, you're back.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, all that grief I got, and then when we got this 150 million, Brian, you're a prick, you're this. It's all been part of the 20-year plan to get Conte, to get Champions League football, to get the stadium, to get the training grounds. We were led to believe this 150 million, we will be dining at the top table in Michelin star restaurants, where we've actually got to the restaurant and it's a fucking all-you-can-eat buffet. That is what has been done again. That is what it is. And if anyone turns around and says, this is exactly what you were expecting, you just did your transfers out, Sim and Ben, that you thought, and the money we get for these players. We can't get money for them because we brought shit in from a chairman over the last 5-6 years that doesn't listen to someone like Paul Mitchell, that keeps hiring managers that play different football to the other manager. So they have a plethora of players that don't play in their football. It's all fucked. Don't get me wrong. Perisic, I think, is one of the best signings of the window, period. For the whole fucking window, not just Tottenham, the whole window. Basuma, who looks shaky, it was his first team start, he will come good. He will come good. Richarlison has been very impressive. And then the rest of it. And I'm sorry.
Is our squad stronger than last season, Brian?
Wait, let me actually. So, the way you've got to look at it, you were just mentioning, Ben, who I'm also.
Yeah.
The amount of play, like I said in January, when we got rid of when we got rid of Ndombele, Hill, Ali, and who's the other one that left? Lo Celso, and we brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur. Did we bring in more quality? Yes. Did we add depth to the squad, which is what we need in a Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, World Cup coming up, games every. Did we add depth to it just in case we have these injuries? No, we fucking didn't.
We added depth in certain positions.
But Ben, don't get me wrong. I think the best thing we've done is bringing in Basuma. We do have 4 very good midfielders. Was injured. Skip was coming back to fitness, and Højbjerg didn't look like he picked something up. So then you're down to 1 of that 4. But the depth, you're right, is there. But when you look at it, we've got 1 forward, but as I said, 5 defenders on the bench. We basically swapped youth of last year for defenders of this year. Is what we've done.
Are you counting wing backs as defenders?
Of course I am.
But there are Sessignon and Doherty and Spence.
Okay, so you got 2 right backs and a left back.
Yeah.
2 right wing.
And what do they do in a? But Brian, what do they do in a Conte system?
That part, mate. I think I need to go get another one. Fucking hell. So yeah.
What do these players do in a Conte system?
No, they attack. Mate, I get it that the wing back. So you're telling me you're happy with having those 3 as your right backs? You're happy.
Have you not listened to the last hour we've been talking?
But that's what I'm saying. So,
I said that we needed a centre back, we needed an attacking player, and I would have been happy to go into the season with that. We've left ourselves short.
And exactly, and centre back. This is the part we've got to all get into our heads. We've left ourselves short again. We brought in 3. As I said at the beginning, the 3 players that have come in that will improve the first team. Great. But again, Brian, we have missed out. Go on.
No, carry on.
No, you go, Ben.
No, you go. No, I'm joking. I'll go. I was saying we left ourselves short, but we're also stronger than what we were last year. Do you not agree with that?
The starting 11, probably, maybe. I'm just. He's doing it again. The master fucking manipulator is doing it again. that he leads you to believe that everything is fucking hunky. It's not.
Did we have anyone on Richarlison's level on the bench last year?
No.
Did we have anyone on Bissouma's level on the bench last year?
No, mate, you're picking those three.
That's
You're
our
picking
bench.
those
That's our
three.
bench, though. That's our bench. Did we have anyone on Longley's level on the bench last year? All bench, and they're all players that would have easily got on our bench last year, easily. So that means
probably.
the depth is better.
It's still, mate. I can't. I'm going to have to agree to disagree.
But why?
I'm going to have to agree to disagree.
You can acknowledge the good. You can acknowledge the good.
I cannot, mate. Simeon, I was there with you when we announced Bissouma. I was with you when we were talking Richarlison, and you brainwashed me. And thank you for doing that, by the way. That brainwashing was good. Perisic, again, these are three. But when you say all these games that are coming thick and thin, we've missed Kia. If we had got that centre back, if we had signed an attacking midfielder,
I completely agree.
Of quality, then you're talking about a window where a lot of people say, do you know what? Things actually look a hell of a lot better. Things look a hell of a lot better.
Look, Brian. I completely agree with what you're saying, that we need these certain players to push on. We need these certain players to add to the depth of the squad. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I completely agree with you. Completely agree.
Yeah.
But you also got to look on the positive things. You can't just focus on the negatives. You've got to look at the positives. You've got to see that we are stronger. We are in a better spot than we were last season. It's just the facts of the matter. Sessegnon was our starting left wing back last season. Now he's our backup left wing back, and we've got Ivan Perisic in. Our midfield is much stronger. Our defence, even though it's not strong enough, it's stronger than what it was last season. We've got Richarlison now, who's also a brilliant player to have in the rotation. You know, our squad is better than last year. We've got players that Conte didn't even want to pick whatsoever in Ndombele, Lo Celso, Winks, these kind of players. You've got to agree that we're in a stronger spot, surely.
That part I'm going to agree with you. But what I will say is, again, what you got to look at is with these outgoings, how fucking bad they were as signings. They were brought into the club under someone.
I completely agree, but we're talking about this transfer window here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, this money, because apparently Romero, who they decided to announce yesterday, which signed weeks ago, but we'll announce it on a day near the window ends to say we've spent an extra 50 million or whatever it was. These outgoings, as you saw with your list, no money came in because someone either A, overprices them so they don't go, or B, they were such bad eggs and bad attitudes that they won't even pay to take them. They take them on loan.
Yeah.
So you look at the amount of money we spent on those players coming in that could have been with a manager or could have brought in, that a manager could have used, but no. So that you can look at the positives of the income, but you've got to look at the negatives of the negative side of the outgoings and the amount of fucking money we have wasted because this guy doesn't listen.
Yeah, but you're going back in history now, man. We're talking about this transfer window. We're talking about trying to fix the problems of the past, right? You're talking about these players that cost too much money when in the past he wouldn't have taken a hit, or like he has done this summer in getting loans out and trying to get cheap deals out. He wouldn't have taken that hit. So it is changing a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not changing enough. Not from what we were led to believe. It's not. It's just
at the end of the day, Brian. I also feel let down by this transfer window in terms of those two key positions that I really wanted in the centre back and the other attacking option. I agree with you. I also feel let down in that situation, but I have to look at the positives as well. You have to look at both.
No, listen. With what you say, you have a point. But you can't, as you said, you talk about the now. This is one window out of 43.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the other 42 windows. We're talking about now
when you're talking
under
about
Antonio Conte. But we're not talking about this guy.
Yeah,
we're talking about Tottenham Hotspur. We're talking about, are we good enough to do our targets this season? Is this transfer window good? Was it good or bad? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about one man here.
Okay, so for me, the transfer window is a 6.
6.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's absolutely fair. I think that's pretty much what Ben said.
I said 6.5. Yeah.
6.5. So you nearly agree.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have
So
thought?
close.
It's that 0.5 that causes all the arguments.
The shouting, all this shouting.
Brian,
0.5,
6,
Brian.
you disgrace.
Yeah, mate, you know what it is. For 3 months, I've been waiting to speak or waiting to see what happens, or having to deal with the cesspool that is Twitter. But
I understand that,
this
Brian.
day has come. The day has come, and yeah.
I guess, Brian,
let's see what
the
happens.
question I asked to Ben is: the question is, are you more happy with the business we have done than you are upset with the business we haven't done? And I guess that's the question you have to ask yourself.
You know what? I'm gonna have to say I'm more with the business we haven't done. And people are going to say, "Well, obviously, Brian, that's you and it's Levy's." But yeah, I just think that central defender. I think if we got a Dumfries or whatever, if we had got a creative midfielder, then the world is a better the world is a better place. Jesus Christ,
The world would be a better place, Brian.
yeah, but then things we would be in a much more healthier place. But we're not. And now we just have to wait and see and just hope we don't get any big injuries. That's the hope to key players.
Yeah.
And let's just hope.
All right.
I think you got a good point there. And I think if we do there are key injuries. If we get key players, if we do get long injuries, then we are going to be in trouble, and that's the truth.
100%.
But in terms of the squad as a whole, I still think it's fairly good.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Right. Nice one, Brian.
Brian,
Lovely to
big
see you.
up as always.
Coming back today, and as always, Levy out.
I think Brian's been waiting for this day, big time.
It seems like it.
Brian has definitely been waiting for this day. In terms of other super chats, we got another one from Harry Kane, and he says they give Conte nothing, absolutely nothing, apart from Perisic and Bissouma.
And Richarlison.
And Longley. What else have we got here?
Rich Firth says, would love to come on, got a lot to say on the window.
Well, come on, mate. Come on. The link is in the community section. So if you want to come on for members, the link is in the
talking about.
Another super chat here from Powder saying the second Conte said we needed 2 more transfer windows. I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
ASM to Chelsea? No way.
St. Maximam.
Can't be. Where's he read that? No, he's don't know what he's seen. No, there's nothing on St. Maximum.
I don't know.
Unless he's ahead of the game, I don't see anything here that suggests that St. Maximum is heading to Chelsea.
There's nothing on Twitter about St. Maximum.
I don't know if he's pulling our leg. I think maybe he must have mistaken Zakaria. I don't know. Don't see anything on St. Maximum. That would really shock me, must say.
Yeah. I'll be gutted if he went there. Well, Aston Villa have just signed Dendoncker on a permanent.
Good signing for them.
15 million.
Not a good signing for Spurs in a weird way, because it probably increases the likelihood that Douglas Luiz will be heading to Arsenal, which gives them more cover.
Arthur Melo has just completed his medical at Liverpool, and Dennis Zakaria is having his medical very soon. So things are still moving in the transfer window, but it's not for Tottenham, unfortunately. But let's move on. Let's get on our next guest, and that is Rich. Rich, how you doing, buddy?
Good guys, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good. Thank you. You have a lot to say, do you?
Well, listen to Brian. Obviously, I see he's frustrated, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of fans out there are frustrated, and I get it. But I think you have to look at the whole picture. I think you look at where we were last year, and before the summer transfer window, and we had no depth. And you guys put out a tweet earlier today. Look at the top six and the depth in our forwards. We've got to be up there as it is, right? So I think overall the squad's improved. We've got to be at like, I don't know, a 7 out of 10 for the window. I think there's obviously a disappointment we didn't back up the defense some more. And I think obviously another forward player would have been great. Two players I think we missed out on was Zaha. I think there was an opportunity there with a year left in his deal. You know, maybe we make a move there. And the one that frustrates me as a defender is Akanji going to Man City for 15 million. I mean, come on. That's a good player there. Would have been a perfect backup for Dyer. Why we didn't make a move for that, I don't get it. Maybe it just wasn't interesting coming to us, but you have to think there's a chance there, right?
Especially for that price.
The other thing that I think about too is, what's that?
Yeah, especially for that price.
With no real plan. You can say they've signed some quality, but does it make any sense? You know, obviously they played us well, but they haven't played well outside of that. United are a complete mess. They're buying players that make no sense. They've got they're trying to rush through players at the end of the day. So are we really that have we really done that poorly? I don't think so. And you know, for Brian to come on and say it's 6 out of 10 at the end of the day, but you can't be that mad then.
It's true. Above average.
I think it's actually fairly successful, right? I mean, and then I keep coming back to the World Cup, the impact that's going to have in the January window. I think we do enough to get through. When January comes around after the World Cup, there's going to be a lot of players that are available that are not on the radar. I think there's an opportunity in January to reinforce where we need.
Rich, with the what excuse do you think with on July I think it was 19th we'd signed Jed Spence. He was our 6th signing of the summer. 6 weeks to go to the end of the transfer window. We obviously had clear holes in the squad we needed filling. Obviously, we clearly want to let go of Brian Hill. We clearly wanted another centre back. Wanted Tanganga to go. Now with 6 weeks left, what excuse do the hierarchy have, or even the recruitment have, for not sourcing a replacement for Hill in 6 weeks for 6 weeks, other than money, other than we didn't have the funds? What other excuse could there possibly be that we didn't source that replacement?
Yeah, that's a frustrating thing to think about because there had to have been options out there, you think, if we were willing to spend the cash. And obviously we weren't.
But how
so
can
there
we
is
not
no
be
excuse.
willing to spend the cash? Why wouldn't we be willing to spend the cash when we injected all that money and we're in the Champions League and we got stadium revenue and we've got concerts and all that? What leg do the board have to stand on if they're using cash?
No,
as an
Enix
excuse?
got flats to build, mate.
Yeah, of course. But is that not? Can you understand the frustration at the board when if it is that they're using money as an excuse, and if money isn't an excuse, then you have to point fingers at recruitment and stuff. But if it is an excuse, how can money in this for this season be an excuse when we've only spent, I think, a net spend of 120 million or so? West Ham.
No, I think you're right. There's no excuse. There's no excuse that they can reliably lean on that they can explain to fans. The only thing that we don't know what happens behind the picture or behind the scenes as far as, you know, are these players actually available that Conte and Paratici have identified? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, that's where the frustration comes from for a lot of fans. And yeah, that, you know, like I said, for me, it's a 7 out of 10. I think we've gone far. We've done a lot of good things, but there's a lot of things we could have done better. Recruiting another forward and another defender had to happen, and it hasn't happened. That's where it's like nearly there, and it's absolutely frustrating. But it's also not the end of the world. Like, there's still really good quality in the team, and I'm actually excited that Hill is staying. I think he's a good player. I think if he's given an opportunity, you might see that. And it wasn't that long ago that we were all big up in Tanganga saying how great he was. He's one for the future, one for all this. And all of a sudden, we kind of forgot because of injuries. And, well, maybe he's actually a decent player. And maybe we'll find that out.
Do you think also underestimate maybe Conte's ability to improve players who we once thought were not good enough and were just going to keep letting us down. And maybe under Conte, that can change.
Yeah, I do, because you look at a player like Dyer, who, again, everyone wanted out and said he was not good enough. The last year, in my opinion, he's been one of the better defenders in the Premier League. He should be in the England squad, absolutely. And then he's proven himself under Conte to be a better player than what we thought. And who's to say that Conte can't do that with Heel and Tanganga? I think he can. I think let's give him the opportunity to. And if it comes out that, listen, they're not up to it, we have another chance in January to rectify that. So I think, yeah, we're frustrated. I think you guys are frustrated for the same reason that everyone else is as well. But let's have some patience. Let's have some trust in Paratici and Conte and see where it goes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I guess it begs the question is it more, are we frustrated more with the lack of depth in certain positions, or are we happier with the signings that we have made and the strength that we have added to the squad? And I, for one, am happier than I am frustrated. But for some fans, they're more frustrated than they are happy. And I guess you fall in the happy camp.
Happier, yeah, still with some frustration, right? I think it's both for the most of the fans. I think we all kind of feel that way. I think we all would have loved it if we'd signed, 2 or 3 more excellent players, but obviously it wasn't in the cards for whatever reasons. And if it's money, then that's not good enough, and we'd love to know. I'm sure we'll never find out what the reasons were, but if it is money, that's not good enough, especially after you've come out and said you're spending 150 million, you got all this cash. Why on earth did they say that in the first place? If you got it, cool. Just why even come out with it? You just set expectations.
They could argue they've spent it. I guess I know it's a net spend of 120 million, but they have spent 150, haven't they?
Yeah, but that
we've
seems
got
like
a net
fuzzy
spend.
numbers.
If you want to include Romero, we've got a net spend of what, 130 million, 125 million or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem like fuzzy numbers though too? Because Romero had to have been accounted for last year, right?
You would have thought so. Yeah.
You would have thought so. Yeah.
So I feel like, I almost wonder if we're bending those numbers to justify what they haven't done, which would be frustrating as well. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll come out with something crazy here at the end of the window and just
no chance. No chance.
What Rich, with the squad we have now, what do you think we can achieve with this squad in your opinion?
Well, I still think when you look at the squad overall, with the quality we've added, what we already had, I still think we're a top 4 team. Especially when you look at the squads around us. I think Chelsea are just going to be a mess. I think Tuchel doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm gonna say we get 3rd place and win a trophy, win a FA Cup would be great.
All right, Rich. Great opinions, great positivity, and we'll see you soon.
Appreciate it.
All right, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Spurs.
Big up. Do we have anyone else waiting? Huh?
Aha.
Is it the man, the myth, the legend?
No.
Oh no, it's not. We feel whenever I see a portrait.
6 or something.
Oh, we got 6.
Really?
Okay, we got our work cut out for us. I see.
Although we're lagging quite a bit.
No, I know.
There's no way we can saw here, is there?
Is it lagging? Is it lagging hard?
Yeah, on and off, yeah. On and off. Which is a bit frustrating. Let's get Leon, I guess.
Get Leon. Can you put the camera on Sim, Jake?
Lee, how you doing, my man? You all right? I think you're on mute, Lee. I think you're on mute, mate. No, it's our bad. It's on our end. How you doing, Lee? You all right?
I'm good. I just want to start off by saying, can we please drug test Erling Haaland and Brian Daigle, please? Because I think that's extremely necessary.
What are you testing for Brian?
No, I'm joking. I actually love Brian, man. Actually, the first stream I actually watched on your guys' channel, I'm going about Daniel Levy, and I earned the sub for real. Like, I really love his passion. I think it's very necessary for some of our fans in this community to be like that, to keep the club in check. However, I think him and along with a lot of fans are being completely unfair to this time, especially with things like, I think they're being unfair with Conte and they're being unfair with the window. Because for me, I say, Rome wasn't built in a day and all of that. We can't fix all the problems in one window. And it's clear that we've improved. We've improved. We've made signings that people didn't expect us to make. And with the Conte side, I think people are being unfair with Conte in terms of like him benching or not letting Richarlison start or not letting Spence start, all of this. Because I think as a community, Spurs community, we've accepted that, actually, okay, I believe, I speak for myself, that systems make teams and systems make players. And that's evident with Eric Dyer and Davies and all these guys that we used to sleep on and talk bad on. They've improved under Conte's system. So I believe Conte's system is making all these players shine. And I think it's completely unfair for us to then expect him to put people that he's already expressed that he's not comfortable with them or they're not ready tactically, like Basuma and stuff. People were calling on Basuma to start a long time ago. I think it's unfair for us to rush and expect Conte to make these decisions and start these people when he doesn't think that they're ready tactically. Because then what will happen is Basuma will come on and perform like how he performed against West Ham, which wasn't, Bentancur wasn't going to do a better job in my opinion. And that's not because Bentancur is or a better player than Basuma and will always be better than Basuma. It's mainly just because Bentancur is more ready tactically for the system. So rushing these players in, and then when they do bad, we turn on them. That's just bad. It's just a bad way to go for things, man. So I say we trust Conte, we be patient, and we just support the club regardless, bro. Like that's it.
No, I understand that, but in terms of the frustrations with ENIC, do you understand them, or do you think we've done a very good job this window, in your opinion? Do you not understand where the frustrations are coming from in this window in terms of the lack of maybe another forward or a centre-back? We've had 6 weeks to source another forward position, and we haven't done it. And what is the reason for that, if not for money?
I'm a huge, one of the other Tottenham guys' YouTube channels has been referring to Paratici as.
No, you're still there. You're still there.
Hello?
Yeah, yes. He's there.
Oh, it's a really bad connection, Lee.
Been referring to Paratici as Don Paratici, right?
Right.
Should I keep speaking?
All right.
Hello.
Lee, I think we're going to have to move to the next guest, but if you could just give me a rating out of 10 for the window, what's your rating?
I'd say 7.5 for
7.5.
people that we got rid of and the signings that we brought in.
All right, brilliant. Sorry we couldn't talk for longer, but there's a bad connection issue, but thank you for coming on,
Call
Lee.
in again, Lee. It was a good call, mate.
Yeah, I understand.
Nice one.
Yeah, for sure.
Speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one, Lee.
All right, so that was Lee.
The lines are chock-a-block today.
The lines are very busy. We've got some positive and negative outlooks on everything, but looking forward to hearing all the views. Who is coming on next?
We've got the Joracle.
The Joracle is back with a vengeance.
We said let's. He's on mute again.
Jory, you are on mute.
It might be our end. It might be our end. One sec.
There we go, Jory.
Muting. Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Is there any way to get you to stop hearing you, Jory? To mute you. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you noticed, eh?
Yeah. Jory, look, we haven't signed anyone today. We spoke to you earlier today, and we said hopefully we'll speak to you later with a new signing. It hasn't happened. Let me know your thoughts on that fact and the window as a whole.
Like we spoke about it earlier today. It's been a busy day for sure, but I think I'm kind of over that thing. We touched on it, and I feel like we're putting the whole thing at jeopardy for one or two extra signings, and we could have done with even some almost bargain bin type signings, like Adama and stuff like that would have been a big help to get those in. But now I think like the reason why I called in now is more to talk about, the great disappointment isn't that we're not going to be fielding a squad that's going to be title contenders, or get a Skriniar in, or whatever we might have had dreams of. I think the big disappointment for me, Dago, and you guys, and many of those who follow this really closely, is that like Levy is back in the game for really clearly now, and that's very disappointing. That can only lead to frustration from Conte, in my view, and it can only always be. It's always going to be a cap on ambition. It's we can never go full out and be full out ambitious as long as he's the chairman. That's really, I'm absolutely convinced of it. So it's a sad state, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what other reason could there be than the chairman not supplying the funds for us not finding an attacking replacement for Gil in the last 6 weeks of the window? I can't really think of another explanation. The funds should, if their funds aren't there, then what is the reason for that? Because we've have a net spend of 120 million. So surely, if we wanted, if we wanted to spend money on another attacker, surely there should be money there for him. So, but why couldn't we find one? That's the peculiar thing.
That's also kind of what I mean, because it's very easy to get sucked into the details and wondering about that. I think, even if you leave aside, like you say, you bring up great points. I mean, like they announced, big announcement, 150 million. We've had great attendance, and everything is looking good in terms of revenue, So there's no excuses there. But I think it's also important not to go into the details, even though you bring up a really great point, because we can't really know the exact details ever. But I think most of us who follow this closely know enough that, whatever the details are, it's down to Levy that things are not getting done these last meters, and it might be. I think you guys probably hit it on the nail, that the fact that we didn't sell any of our outgoings, that's a factor for sure. I touched on, I think a lot of money is being spent actually on building the scouting network now, and probably coaching money is also a big increase there, So I'm not disappointed with the spending I'm sure that ENIC is now spending more than they've done probably ever, and like I said, it's not about big money signings, anything. It's about who's running the show, who's having the last word, and that's terribly disappointing to see that apparently it's Levy, So,
Jory,
yeah.
are you very frustrated with this window, like the rest of us? But
no, I think you nailed it.
But with a view of the bigger picture, with the view of the bigger picture, are you happy? Yeah. Are you happy and content with the view of the bigger picture right now?
I think watching you just earlier go through your rating, I felt it mirrored my sentiment perfectly. It's like it was a really strong start, heading towards something great, and then it became, maybe above average or whatever. And the more things have come to light, and the closer to the deadline we are, the more disappointing the window is. And I think I would put it probably, 6.5, I think sounds just about right, Ben. So,
big up, Jory.
And you got to have a point something, you got to have decimals, right?
Yeah, exactly. Can't be... yeah, exactly. But
amateurs,
anything else? No. Exactly, can't be an amateur.
No, I just wanted to say, because I think you guys are doing, you're really braving it tonight and stuff like that. I do think really it is important to keep the positivity, and it is important to still remember that it's still Conte's team for now, even though we're now seeing Levy creep back into the conversation. Very disappointing, but it's still Conte, it's still Paratici, it's still the Italian Revolution, and let's not get ahead of ourselves in that regard, So,
Exactly. It's
yeah,
important. It's important for us as a fan base to stick together, isn't it? It's important that
for
we've
sure.
got Conte here. We've got world-class players here in Kane, Son, even Kulusevski. We've got a stronger squad than what we had last year. So there's no reason why we can't go better than what we did last year as well.
No, I think exactly. If we want to really put on the pressure on Levy, I do think that if we go too negative, we split this fan base. If we really want to put it on, we keep praising Conte like we do every game. We keep singing his song, and it's not. I'm not saying people. I actually think maybe at this point it's probably good to voice your Levy out opinion, but don't lose yourself in that side of the things. It like the Conte song is stronger still. The Conte effect is much more the prevailing factor that we're dealing with in our club. We have to remember that. But we want Levy completely out of this business. I think, at least most of us that are very closely following Tottenham, want Levy nowhere near the business in terms of football. But that's maybe going to be a gradual process. Let's hope so. Let's hope it's not going in reverse now. That we just need to be patient with facing Levy completely out of it as well. Yeah.
All right. Big up, Jory. Great views as always. Great call as always.
See you, Jory.
And
You're doing a great job, guys.
Thank you, mate.
It could turn into a toxic day. I think you're twisting it just the right way around. So big up to you guys.
Nice one,
Thank you, Jory. Thank you, Jory. We'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Come on, you Spurs. So that was Jory. Big up.
Jadon Sancho has put Man United 1-0 up.
Man, you won it up at the King Power. How long gone? About 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's only 25 minutes gone there. Rashford putting him through, and it was a nice finish round.
So for all you FPL enthusiasts, that's Rashford assist and Jadon Sancho goal. We're going to have to keep breezing through these calls. Next up is Avmaster. Mr. Avmaster, how are you?
Avemaster? Avemaster.
Avemaster or Avmaster? How do you say it?
It's Avemaster or Avemaster or however you want to say it, because a lot of people say it differently.
I like that one better. Avemaster.
Ave.
Yeah, it's Roman stuff, but anyway, it's fun.
It's just that Roman stuff.
Yeah,
just Roman stuff. It used to be RB Spurs, but.
Talk to me about the transfer window. What's your opinions? What's going through your mind at the moment?
Confusion and split opinion, because it came into the transfer window watching us get Forster, Perisic for free, which was great. Richarlison in, Basuma in, and all that, which was great business. It was great business. I'm not even going to deny it. But then coming into it and watching us slow down, watch us slowly go towards what we were originally doing by getting Udogie and sending him back on loan, which I'm still pretty darn annoyed about. And then watching us like almost go silent and say that we're interested in this person, we're interested in that person, we're inquiring like this, we're inquiring like that. It just felt like last season. It felt like not last season, the season before. It felt like the January window was so dull at the start, but then we got Kulusevski and Bentancur in, but it's like the opposite way round.
Yeah, but do we not deserve credit for getting so many signings in early? Is that not the best way to do it? Early?
Don't get me wrong. The business that we have done is superb, but like when it comes down to the non-business that we've done, you have to feel like it's a little bit. You wish that you could get a bit more. Like,
do you think the bad outweighs the good in this window?
I feel like the in certain sections of our team, yes, because midfield the only thing that we really need is a creative or attacking midfielder, which we've said for 2 seasons now we needed, but we still haven't got. We still got another defensive midfielder, which in Basuma, in my opinion, is a defensive midfielder, but he can be manipulated into a attacking role. So I guess we got some positive there. But when it comes to like centre backs, we had so many centre backs that we were linked with, but we didn't end up doing anything with. When it comes to another winger, we got Richarlison in, and I guess Perisic can be used as a winger, but like we don't want to use him as a winger.
Mm-hmm.
We want to use him as a left wing back because Sessegnon's now on his own if Perisic is used as a winger.
Yeah.
And then you have the right wing back issue. I mean, I like Doherty, and I know that's a very, very unpopular opinion in our fan base. I like Doherty more than like Emerson because if we're going to play attacking football, why are you using the defensive right back as a right wing back when we've got an attacking guy who's naturally a right wing back on the bench every time? I mean, yesterday was pretty much. I'm hoping yesterday was the wake up call that maybe we need to put Jed Spence on. Maybe we need to put Doherty on instead of Emerson. I don't know why Doherty's not had a single glimpse this season. Maybe it's because his injury is still pretty much hindering him a little bit. But when it comes down to other sections, you just start to think maybe we should have done a bit more business. Maybe there was a bit here and there that we needed to do. But what do I know? I'm not Daniel Levy. I'm not the financial expert that he is.
Avemaster, what are your ambitions for this season in terms of what Tottenham can achieve? And with those ambitions, do Tottenham have the squad to achieve those ambitions?
I was ambitious with the idea of my ambitions was top 3 and a cup, maybe it be FA or Carabao. I don't care about the Carabao, but I guess the Carabao is still a cup that would silence the other teams. I was also ambitious on us getting to a semi or a final for the Champions League. I know that's a bit of a far stretch, but you have to be ambitious. You have to be a bit delusional in certain sections, I guess.
You have to be a dreamer.
Yeah, exactly. Dare, dream, do. But it looks like the dare bit was at the start of the transfer window, and then we're now not even bothering to even.
What are you rating the window out of 10?
I know a lot of people have said 6 and 6.5. I'm going to go for a 6.25.
6.25. I love that.
6 and a quarter.
6 and a quarter, may as well. But yeah, with all things considered, I'm okay with the transfer window. When it comes down to what we've done, I'm happy with. But do I feel like we're going to get that top 3? I'm now closing on the idea that maybe we'll get top 4, but maybe not the top 3 that we're looking at. A cup, very much an option. If Leicester can win a cup, so can we. Come on. With all things considered, like Leicester won the FA Cup not too long ago with a team that was fairly weaker than what we have now. So, in my opinion, we can definitely get a cup, whether it be Carabao or FA.
Especially with Conte at the helm, right?
Oh, absolutely. Conte, in my opinion, was the best signing that we ever did manager-wise for the past 10 to 15 years. Yeah, like as much as I liked the Poch era, Conte miles above. So.
All right, Ave Master, big up yourself. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll see you next time.
Just calling in, mate.
All right, thank you so much, lads.
Nice
Cheers,
one.
mate. All right,
Couple of super chats here.
Yeah, go on, get through them.
One Danny Kiriakou.
Oh boy, Danny.
And he says, "Big up, boys. I want to come on, but I can't. Airport run. I would send shockwaves to this fan base with some facts and show you reality plus lies." He was going to show us the reality and lies.
Jesus.
Not reality, I don't know.
Danny Kiriakou.
Danny is on one today. Absolutely love it.
I think he's on one every day if you go look at his social media account.
Where is the other one? I just lost it.
I've got one here from Rich Frith saying, window is open again in 11 league games. Don't panic. If needed, we can reinforce then. And when you actually put it like that, it doesn't seem that long away.
No, 11 league games. Yeah, but then you remember got 6 Champions League games and 1 League Cup game. So still 17, nearly half a season. 17 games, 18 games.
Yeah.
So still
How many more?
A lot of football.
Oh, this is it. Last caller. Last caller of the stream. And he looks like he's in a tunnel somewhere or something. I don't know where he is, but it's
You
me.
lazy
It's me.
sod, are you?
Is it Halloween? What's going on?
Going back to mine, mate. No, I'm not in a tunnel or something. You lazy, are ya?
Lazy? Why would I be lazy?
I don't know, mate. But yeah, about the transfer window, like you're probably gonna ask me that or something, are ya?
Yeah, are you happy with the window?
No, I was actually going to ask you what you're having for dinner tonight, Carl.
Oh, you're gonna ask what I'm having for dinner? I had dinner, man. I had spaghetti carbonara.
What are you having? What are you having?
I had a spaghetti carbonara, mate.
Carbonara.
Well, you know, I had one
Chef,
down
you
on
you quite the chef, Kyle.
Yeah,
are you?
Yeah.
So, Carl, transfer window.
Someone's not bothered about deadline day, are they? As long as he's got his carbonara, he doesn't care who we sign.
You can hear my friend laughing in the background, I think.
Love it.
Go on,
Having a
talk.
jolly old night.
Carl, talk to me about the transfer window, mate.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah,
No, he's not gone. He's still
I'll
here.
give the win. I'm here.
Yeah, you're still here. You're still here. Go on. Yeah, are you gone again?
Yeah.
Kyle?
No, I think he's in a bad reception or something. He's clearly on the move.
Get out of that tunnel, Kyle.
I think.
Kyle, the connection's not great.
Yeah.
All right, Carl. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move
he's
on
gone.
because I'm sure we have to move on because the
Sorry,
connection's
Carl.
really bad. You keep dropping in and out, so we'll have to get you on next time. But thank you very much for calling in, Kyle. But I think that is all we have time for today, guys. That is all we have time for. It was great getting everyone's opinions on the transfer window.
Good stream. Really good stream.
It was good going head-to-head with Brian Daigle as well. Very much
I felt
enjoyed
the
that. Yeah. But look, everyone, put your ratings in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on the transfer window as well. I think tensions got a bit heated today, as it always does on transfer deadline day. As it always does. But I think, look, like I said before, 6.5 for me. Could have done more in this window. Should have done more in this window. But I prefer to concentrate on the positives to say that we are stronger than last year. We can achieve a top 3 finish and a cup if we really get lucky, to be honest, if we get injury free and stuff like that. But like a good point a commenter made before, 11 games only in the Premier League until we can make more reinforcements.
Exactly. So things can definitely be revisited in January. There's no reason why it can't if the glaring holes in the squad are apparent then. So I think there's surely money for us to spend in January. I have to say, I think Levy and the board and everything for not having more money in the last month or so is something that we can't forget, because
Once again, another point that we can't forget.
Yeah, for sure. That's
another point on that really long list.
That's something that's very frustrating for me, and they definitely should have. They definitely have to have a reason for that. But I think the club and the squad are still moving in the right direction, and as long as that's happening, I'm going to be positive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, big up, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow, preview day for the big game against Fulham on Saturday. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.